Hello. So I wanted to shortly show off something I've tinkered with a bit, and it's something you can do with metaprogramming in Jai. So just starting off, this is the application. I'm rendering 32 by 32 different sprites. So that's what we have. And so what I'm doing here is, let me pull up the metaprogram and let me pull up my main. So how do I go for this? Let's see. So basically what I'm doing is I am in my metaprogramming, I am generating some code, and what I'm generating is a sprite enum, and I'm filling that sprite enum with all of these images in my sprites folder. So here's the main code. This is all of the main code. I'm just gonna comment out the big one for now. So on the top here we have some placeholder. We're telling the compiler that trust me bro, I am going to insert some code for sprite, load sprites, and draw sprite. So that's why I can call load sprite here, even though I have no definition for it in my user program. And the LSP is having some problem here. It's telling it was never filled. I'm not sure how that works, but we can ignore that error. So what I can do now is I can, for example, like say I want the tree sprite. What I can do, I can just do like this. I can tell it tree sprite is dot tree. Of course we can give it a sprite like so, and this should compile. This compiles because in my metaprogram I have this sprite enum, and down in the generate code I am iterating over each sprite or each image in the sprites folder. I am pulling out the file name with no extensions, and I am appending that to my string builder, and then I am filling in this one here. This percentage sign 1 is indicating a like string insertion place, and down here I am simply taking this string, sprite enum insertion string, and I am inserting my builder, which I have just iterated over and taken out all of these. So what we can do here, for example, if we print this, we can print the sprite. I'm not sure what this will produce. Let's see. Yeah, it's just giving us the enumerator. And then I have two functions, the load sprites function, and the load sprites function does something similar. I have a placeholder string here. I then, in my generate code, I insert this line here, which just tells it to, in the sprites array, which is just an array of textures. It could be whatever. I'm using raylib to render here, and I'm just inserting at index. Let's see, the index is simply the number in the sprites file, and I am loading it with the enemy.png, player.png, and such. And then in my render or draw sprite, this one has no, it's just rendering the given sprite enum, which is a number 0 to whatever number of sprites we have, and then it takes out the texture and it draws it at the position with the default color of white. So the power of this is that, say I'm developing my game, I want to create a new sprite. Let's draw a quick sprite here. I'm just going to draw something. Wonderful. So I have this new sprite. I want to add it into the game, so I export it as a smile.png, and I'm going to export it into my sprites folder. Let me navigate to that. Here I export it into here with the rest of my sprites. boom. And now all I have to do to render it is just in my client or program, I have to call draw sprite. Now I can just pass in dot smile, because the metaprogramming is going to fill in all of this stuff for me. Of course, I did something wrong. Yeah, the position 0, 0. And there it is. So that's a super simple way to use the Jai metaprogramming to code gen, and during compile time the metaprogram can do all of the things that you want. Yeah, I open a folder, I iterate over all the files, I insert some code. Yeah. So the thing I had at the beginning here was just iterating over each tile. Let me remove all of this. Yeah, I call load sprites, which is inserted by the metaprogramming. I then iterate, I create an array of sprites, which again is filled in by the metaprogram. I grab a random value, 0 to the whatever highest values in the sprite enum, which is the number of sprites we have loaded, and I insert it into the tiles. And then I iterate through each x, y in the 2D array, and I call draw sprite, passing in the enum value of sprite. Cool. Let's say I'm not happy. I'm not happy with the let's see, if the smile one. I don't like it. All I have to do to remove it from the game is just remove the actual file, and the metaprogramming takes care of it, and there is no longer any smile here. And you can imagine what you could do with this. You can extend this to, of course, to any number of things, because what I would have done in some other, I don't know, languages, I would have to added all of these here. I would have to added the smile, the player, the test. Then I would have to, for each time I add a new one, I would have to remove and add to this sprite enum. But we're just keeping the source of truth in the assets here in the sprites folder. So we can just remove, let's say we remove all of these and just have a bunch of trees. Now we'll get just the trees. Of course, now I am probably doing some weird, let me duplicate this. Sorry, I haven't tested it with just one. There's probably some 0-1 problem. Let's paste that. Let's remove the space in here, because that would compile, of course. 3 and 3, 1. Yeah. That's it. Just something that you can do with metaprogramming. Cool.